Good morning. Have a good day. No. Ugh. All right, people of the internet. This episode is cursed. Believe it or not, it's my fourth attempt of trying to record this episode, and for whatever reasons, I don't know, the first time I didn't like my blabbering, the second time I didn't make sense whatsoever, the third time I forgot to record the audio, so I'm like, this is my fourth attempt to record this episode about ear training. Let's make it a good one. Let's hope this works, finally. Is it recording? Yes. Somebody suggested ear training, like how do you play by ear? And for me personally, it's very complicated to explain that because I've always been doing it like naturally ever since I was born. So it's very hard to step back and think about how to exercise that if something like that comes naturally to you. But now that I've spent 3 attempts to like think about how to do that, I'd say start off with listening and reproducing intervals. An interval is a distance between 2 notes. Let's say you drive a car, right? And then you have the windshield wipers. Like there's like fast ones, and then there's a slow one. That's an interval. An interval can be fast or slow when it comes down to like windshield wipers. When it comes to notes, an interval can be small. So, ba 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 ba, or an interval can be big. But hi, Cookie. Hey, I'm recording the 4th time now. Sit here? No. It can be like a big distance between 2 notes or a small distance between 2 notes. Intervals have certain kind of like emotions, like feelings, like a vibe you get from those. They can sound happy, they can sound sad, and they can sound neutral, right? So the trick to like learning how to play by ear or figuring out chords in a song when you don't know the chords but you just want to play along is you have to have the ability to like consume something you hear with your ears, analyze it and reproduce it. And when you can reproduce it either by singing or humming or... What are you doing? If you are... No, Cookie. If you're capable of like listening, analyzing, reproducing it, then put it into your instrument. Right? You want a pistachio, huh? Okay. You get a pistachio. Okay, here we go. Oh. Hang on. Here you go. No? Let's practice. I'm gonna use the example. Welcome, please, everybody. Welcome, my beautiful jam. Signed by the wonderful Mr. Richie Kotzen. Ooh. Let's start off with a heptatonic scale. Oh my god, what do you mean? Heptatonic comes from the Greek word hepta. Hepta means 7, meaning you have 7 different notes before the first root note appears again for the second octave. Meaning 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you have the octave, which is the same note like the first one. Right? And then you would start. And then again, which is the octave. Heptatonic scales are literally the major scales, the minor scales, all the church modes, all of those. Cookie, it's the pistachios. Like, can you not? You distract me. Sit here. Heptatonic scales are major, minor, which is Ionian and Aeolian for those of you who know church modes. All the other church modes is 7 different notes before the first one repeats. Okay. You want to be in the picture too? Yeah, okay. So let's try to learn those diatonic, meaning with the notes within that C major scale, which is the first scale everybody learns because it's the white keys on the piano. Ba, 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 ba. All the children's songs based on a C major scale. That's the easiest one. So we're gonna start with this one. Cookie, can you zip the beak? First interval is from the first note to the second note. Whenever I hear those notes, and I try to sing them, ba, ba, it's a step. I feel there's a step. And there's no rule to what you have to have in mind when you listen to something. It can be like, wow, this is exactly how... Exactly. So make up your own rules. Make up your own little stickers in your head that remind you of Cookie. Sit. When I hear a third, that's the major third, I immediately hear ba 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 ba, like a major chord. Ba 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 ba. So this is like a major chord. Next one, fourth. In Germany we have this Cookie. In Germany we have this saying like da 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 da. The post is here. Whenever I hear this interval, I feel that post thing. Next one, fifth. It's a fifth, and that, for example, is the beginning of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. So whenever you hear that, just imagine Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Sixth. I don't really have like anything that it reminds me of, but I get a feeling when I hear that. It's this melancholy love story, romantic. I don't know. This is the vibe that I get off of this like interval. It's like ba, 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 ba. Moving on to the seventh, which is another very dissonant interval, just like the first interval with the 1 and the 2. That doesn't sound good together. It sounds like diarrhea or something. Same with the seventh. That's another diarrhea one. But at the same time, I'm listening to this very sharp feeling of this interval. And what I feel is ba 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 ba. Da. It's missing the because you could never play. Well, of course you can, but you wouldn't play a melody like ba 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 ba. Right? It's missing the ba, like arriving, like back to the root. Ba 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 ba. So I get this sharp feeling of like, this my guitar is dirty. Why didn't I polish you before I started recording? This is the 4th try. I'm gonna nail this episode now. There are 4 neutral intervals, meaning like if you have twice the same note, let's say 2 Ds, 2 Gs. You hardly can hear that there's 2 notes because it's the same note twice. That is a neutral sound. Same like the 4th. Cookie. What? The 4th is, are you shitting? 4th. Same thing. It's a neutral sound. It's not happy and it's not sad. Same with the 5th. Which is mostly power chords, you know. Guitar players would relate to. Obviously. And then the octave. It's not sad, it's not happy, it's the octave, it's neutral. All the other intervals have a feeling like sad or happy, like happy. For example, minor, just saying. Sad. But this is happy. So you listen. This is actually the first episode. I would like to do like an interactive thing. I'm gonna play you out of those intervals in that key of C major. I'm gonna play you examples, and while you are in this video premiere, while you're watching this video right now, you can actively try to figure out what kind of interval that is. And this is like ear training at its best, because that is what you do to learn how to play by ear. So, what interval is this one? C, and F. Next one. Sixth, C and A. Next one. Second, C and D. Seventh, C and B. Last one. Major third, C and E. Let me know in the comment section how many of those you got right. And again, you would whistle, you would hum, you would sing, no matter how, but you have to be able to reproduce it. So when you can reproduce it with your body, you can put it on your instrument. If you look for a note, for example, never ever go like... I see my students do that all the time. Let's say I'm looking for a note like ba, right? And then I'm like ba. This is not how you look for a note. You have to know that every single note that exists, we only have 12 different notes. Every note exists from your low E string to the 12th fret. These frets provide every single note that there is. But the fact is, it's like E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. And again, that's the same note like this one. So you have every existing note on one string from the open string from the 1st fret to the 12th fret. If you need to find a note, go look around this one. So let's say I have this note, ba. There it is. And it locks in. You feel like this. If you learn how to play songs by ear, you have to figure out what the chord progression does. Okay, wait, this is level 2. Let's start over level 2. Level number 2 is how do I listen to a song and play along immediately? First of all, that is one of the things that my students are always fascinated. Like, you don't know the song, how can you play along? It's easy. And it starts off with just like listening to what you hear, figuring out the chords, like the root notes, first of all. And then following the chord progression, and then you can play along. I have to say that nowadays charts music is... it's just boring. It's nothing like back in the 80s, like, you know, Toto, Nick Kershaw, Roxette, Aerosmith. That was like demanding chord progressions and like structures of songs. Nowadays, the way popular music in charts works nowadays is like you have 4 chords, da 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 da, and then they repeat over and over and over and over and over again, like for the duration of like 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes, right? If it's loud and full, that is supposed to be the chorus. If it's empty and a little bit less full, it's the verse. That's sad but true. So if a student comes up with a song that I don't know, and goes like, hey, I want to play this one. And I'm like, okay, all right. I listen to it and I have to listen to 4 bars and then I can literally play along, figuring out where those root notes are. Meaning, let's try this. And by the way, if you want to practice playing by ear, there are a couple of artists that I would really, really highly recommend starting with. Whether you're into metal or whatever, it's easy to start learning with these kind of artists. First of all is Green Day. Second is Taylor Swift. And 3 is Ed Sheeran. Those 3 artists provide songs based on 4 chords most of the time. And that makes it easy to learn how to like follow the bass root line, right? So let's try out something like an old traditional song. Everybody knows Country Roads, right? And we're gonna stay in the key of C major. Country roads take me home, to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads. So, if I would not have the chords for this song, how do I know when these chords are changing and which chords I have to play? There's this rule about the 4-chord song. I'm bashing through this because I'm doing this for the 4th time already now. If you do a 4-chord based song, just like the bands I just mentioned, Green Day, Taylor Swift, and Ed Sheeran, artists, you would base the selection of your chords on the easy rule. So you have your heptatonic scale. Ba 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 ba. You take the 1st, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th note. You build chords on top of those notes. In terms of C major, it would be C, ba 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 ba, F major, and then G major, and then A, but minor. So these are your chords in a C major scale. The 1st is the root, the 4th is the subdominant, the 5th is the dominant, and the 6th is the one minor chord we have. Right? Let's assume these are the chords for country roads. In a song, usually the chords change on 1, or maybe if you have 2 chords in one bar, on 1 and on 3. Right? So meaning like, for example, if I sing the song, country roads, take me home to the place. It always changes on the 1. Now we gotta figure out which chord we change to. If you hear the bass line, let's play the bass line of the chords. That's our root note, C. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West back to the root, and to the dominant, to the subdominant, and back to the root. So if you try to learn how to play by ear, start focusing and listening to what mainly the bass does. A bass is mostly playing the root of your chord. And it's not like you have a selection of 1,000 chords that are possible. It's when you know the key and you know the root note, that limits your options of like, and we are sticking to like mainstream easy music, right? I'm not talking about acid jazz or something like that. So if we stick to folk music and easy listening chart music, you stick to those chords that are provided by the heptatonic scale, right? Does that make sense? So you have a selection of chords and you can just like figure out what fits best. So let's say I don't know the chords. Country roads, take me home. No. Next one. Country roads, take me home. No. Next one. Country roads, take me home. Yes. It locks in. Again, just like finding that note. So that's literally the trick of like trying to learn how to play by ear. You have to figure out the root of your chords. Where does the bass go? Where does it jump to? All that, starting out with learning how to define and reproduce intervals. Got it? Keep practicing, and I'll see you again next Sunday. Please connect to the Discord channel, link in description, where I'm probably gonna provide like an example video of how I would like start playing along a song that I don't know, you know? Stuff like that. I'm always like providing additional tabs, additional notes, additional footage to these episodes. So please connect with the Discord server and stay safe and sane, happy and healthy, and see you again next Sunday. Thank you for watching. Bye, people of the internet.